Okay, welcome once again. Myself is Pritesh Shah. On behalf of ProThought, welcoming all of you for today's webinar. A few announcements before we proceed. You can communicate only through the chat during this webinar. And question and answers you can we'll be discussing at the last 10 to 15 minutes time. So initial 40 to 45 minutes we'll discuss on the subject and some introduction about ProThought initially, followed by concepts of project management, glimpses of project management, and then we'll continue further. So before we proceed further, about myself, I worked as a project manager before this career in training. So last 12 plus years, I'm into PMP certification training as a trainer, and also conduct motivational and leadership workshops for the corporates and individuals. And before that, I worked with Tata Group of Company in Bangalore for around 8 years, and total out of 20 plus years, I am having 15 years of experience in the project management. Was working in a embedded project, software development and systems development from hardware to software. Developed system from the scratch along with the team assigned. About my professional background, I shared. About my educational background, I have done B Electronics, then MBA in HR. Got PMP certified in 2008 and active PMI member right now. Certified Scrum Master and pursued postgraduate diploma in value education. So that's a brief about myself. So today's agenda will have introduction to project management, overview, and PMP certification advantages. And finally, we'll have question and answer session. Maybe just quick overview within just 2 to 3 minutes about ProThoughts. So ProThought is a company working in various areas of training, particularly certification trainings. We conduct corporate training, and we can give training on certification for PMP, PGMP, that is program management, ACP, that is Agile certification, then Discipline Agile, Certified Associate in Project Management, and so on. Along with that, we also provide simulators for various exams, and we also have a portal for e-learning for the participants who join the training sessions. And we also are the distributor of a couple of authors' books like Rita Mulcahy, etc. So that's a brief about ProThought. So in project management professional, which is the certification arranged by Project Management Institute, USA. So here, basically, those people who hold PMP certificate, they earn higher, almost 20 to 25% higher than the non-professional project managers. At present, more than 10 lakh PMP certified across the world. And if you see the graph of demand of PMP certificate, it is increasing in last 2 years itself. The growth is kind of exponential compared to earlier few years. And that shows the need of the time because the time is very much challenging, uncertain. And most of the projects are uncertain in nature. So it requires professional way of managing that. And now many corporates have realized that some formal way of doing the project is required. And that is why PMP is in demand. And professionals across the industries like manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, IT, software, they are giving these exams. Almost all types of industry, we can say. And there are 15.7 million roles, new project management roles coming up. That was basically kind of surveyed in 2021. So we are the basically authorized training partner. Basically, PMI has come up with ATP program and including myself, basically authorized trainers are there, certified by PMI, and we provide PMI provided material access to the e-learning platform where you can access the project management certification study material. So it's a standard material now, and that's where we can say it's a very standard and controlled product. So we have our in-house group of colleagues who work on this, and also we have a very good support team post-training also, which helps to coordinate various needs of the participants. So we use various methodologies like gaming, and also we have our own content platform for e-learning access during and after the training. So we work towards giving a very good experience to the participants so that they get benefit in their work. At the same time, they get professionally certified. So as I mentioned, we are the authorized training partner. Fine. So just had a quick overview on ProThought. So let's continue with the glimpses of project management. So first question comes, being a project manager or project leader, we keep working on various projects, right? So what is project actually? What is project? So if anyone wants, you can type in the chat as a interaction if you want. So what do you think, according to you, project is? So project, how do you decide that particular work that you are doing is a project or operational activity? So any project management task or activities that we perform, how can we confirm that it is part of the project? So the definition of the project says that the nature of the project is uncertain, first of all, and temporary in nature. That means any project will have definite start and definite end actually. It means at some point of time it will start, at some point of time it will end actually. Now project will end, but the outcome of the project will continue. For the purpose, for example, mobile is the product and we completed the project to create the mobile. So the project called mobile development is temporary in nature. At some point it will start, at some point it will stop. But outcome, that is product mobile, may exist in the market for coming up few years. So in temporary is not from the view of outcome. Outcome may continue for even 100 years, like monuments, historical monuments built in the various countries. So once monument is built through some project, it continues for years and years. So outcome may not be that temporary compared to the initiation and ending of the project. So project has definite start and definite end. And the important part is every project will have constraints actually. So what is constraint? Would you like to answer in the chat window quickly? So we might have a kind of interaction going on. What do you think, according to you, constraint means? Barriers, okay. Budget, time, okay. Obstacle, thank you. Very good. So the word constraint, actually nobody likes. But what is constraint? Constraint means actually we can define as known limitation. It's not only limitation, not only barrier, but known barrier, known obstacle, known limitation. The word limitation is better because it's like at present we have the limitation. For example, during COVID-19, there was a limitation to work from home. So it's a known limitation. So as a project manager, we have to remember every project will have some kind of constraint within which we have to perform better. We may work on improving the constraints. That means we may work on removing that limitations by improving our infrastructure, our project environment. But meanwhile, while the limitations are there, we don't say it's a problem. We continue within that environment to achieve our goals. And of course, there are various constraints like scope, schedule, and cost. And they are called triple constraints. And generally, they are called triple constraint because they are actually defined by the customer. Customer has control over that. And that is why you must have observed that we focus usually most of the time on scope, schedule, and cost. Okay. And another characteristics of any project is it has unique outcome. Unique outcome. That means whatever work we do, it's a unique. Okay. For example, right now we have the webinar. It has a definite start, definite end. Okay. Now, can you say quickly, is it a project or kind of outcome is temporary? Unique? Can you say whether the outcome is unique or not? Can we say webinar outcome is unique or webinar itself as a unique project for a small duration? Anyone? Yes, because it's unique in nature. Though the concepts are probably common, but the participants are unique, your background is unique, the time and date is unique. There are various aspects of that. And at the end of it, the outcome will be unique in nature. Everyone will have different understanding, but at the end of it, there will be unique and common understanding created. Some better way, that's what I guess. Okay, so that is kind of a unique thing. So that's the way we confirm whether it's a project or operation activity. So what is operational activity? So like car manufacturing example we can take. When we manufacture new car, when we design the new car, it's a project. It requires a lot of skills, cross-functional skills. But once the car is designed, sample car is tested and it's working fine. Now we have a production work where we produce all other car from the sample car design. So comparatively, if you see, that is an operational activity, because in operational activity is just an ongoing activity, usually do not require creative work. Of course, it requires attention on the work, but compared to a new car design, it does not require much of use of intellect actually. Kind of a routine work, just we have to copy paste the existing design and ensure certain processes are followed. So project is definite time, definite start and end, while operations are ongoing actually. So we just touched upon difference between project and operations. So surprisingly, sometimes we might be working on projects since many years, but if we have to differentiate, might not be able to do because at least I felt that when I was going through PMP study. Anyway, so the next is, let's touch upon the topic project management. What is project management? So we all know that we keep working on various projects, and we are also having the designation sometimes project manager, project leader. And of course, we always say that I'm doing project management. But how do we know whether we are doing project management or project coordination? Like we discussed project versus operations. How do I know whether it is a project management activity or it is project coordination activity? Okay. So first we have to understand the definition of the project management. Definition says project management is an application of three things. One, knowledge; second, skills; third, tools and technique. As you can see, slides are just for reference so that you can just remember what we are talking. So three things: knowledge, skills, and tools and techniques. Application of. Now first it says application of knowledge. Now which knowledge actually? Anyone would like to answer quickly? Which knowledge? When it says application of knowledge, which knowledge we have to apply? Quick. Yes, thank you. Domain, okay. Anything else? Domain means technical, right, Uday? Okay. So Uday says technical, okay. Then project management, okay, fine. So the answer is yes, project management. Why not technical? Because we are telling project management definition. So of course, domain knowledge is kind of by default required to do the project. But if you want to confirm whether I am doing project management within my project or not, then the first condition, application of project management knowledge. Again, what does that mean? So let's take an example. Again, you can interact if you want. It's a very good example. If you learn a car from your friend or relative versus learning the car from the professional school, what will be the difference? Anyone would like to answer? Quick. I repeat, what is the difference between learning a car from your friend versus learning a car from the professional car driving school? Anyway, not to take up the time. So when you learn a car from your friend, in both the case, you will be able to drive the car. That means you will have the domain knowledge, technical understanding. But the difference will be in the second case where you learn from the professional school, you might learn little bit more compared to your friend, possibly, exceptionally. If the friend itself is in the professional school, then it's a different story. But difference is when you learn from the professional school, then you will be learning kind of code of conduct and basic rules and basic safety guidelines, or in other words, a proper formal way of driving, a formal way of using some signals, light signals to indicate other people on the road. Okay, so that is the advantage. So that means in both the case, you can reach from one place to other place. That's perfect. Similarly here, whether you are project manager or professional project manager, you will be able to drive the project successfully also, like in a car. The only difference will be how you drive the car, how you drive the project. That how part is different. Otherwise, both will be able to reach destination successfully, but how you reach the destination, that will make a difference. And that will have effect on various aspects in case of car, right? If you don't drive professionally within certain speed limit, then the fuel consumption will be very high, etc., etc. Right? Okay. So application of project management knowledge, that means formal knowledge. That is why PMP certification requires 35 hours of formal training in this area. The reason is you should have the formal knowledge on the project management. Somewhere you should have learned at least once. Okay, then application of the skills. Which skills? So all the types of skills like communication, team building skills, okay, people management, resource management. So application of knowledge, skills, and then various tools and techniques. That means how to do various processes. Okay, so like for example, scope management. So there are some tools for collecting the requirements like brainstorming, then focus group technique, right? And then facilitated workshops, interviews. So these are called tools and techniques. So this is the definition: application of knowledge, skills, and tools and techniques to your project management task. So surprisingly, if someone do not have formal knowledge of project management, what will happen? Whatever work we do, we do according to PMBOK definition. Make a note. According to project management body of knowledge definition, 6th edition. We are talking about that. So according to PMBOK definition, if someone do not have the formal knowledge, then there is no question of applying it. So in that case, unfortunately, it will be called project coordination. And in a way, I'm not sure, you may agree that overall 60 to 70% of the project management role is actually played in such a way that most of the time project manager will be involved in allocating the work, monitor the work, take the status, make sure the work is done on time, communicate with the customer, kind of thing. But is project management just limited to just coordination of the work? Answer is no. So if you really want to know what is that, then the answer is here in the formal knowledge. Okay, so that's called project management. When you apply formal knowledge, apply some formal skills that you learned, and apply some techniques that you learned, then it's called project management. Okay. So now let's discuss now various common problems you may also share. So question is, what are the existing problems you face while managing the projects? So while I continue the session, you may type your answers if you want. What do you think existing problems faced while managing projects? So you can keep mentioning in the chat window while I continue. Seeing the time available, will not wait, but I'll look at what you write. Good. Change orders, budget, resource, scope creep, less for more. Yes, right. Okay. So first thing is changes demanded by customer time to time. That means for customer, it is not a big thing. They keep on asking new requirements time to time. What happens is for every changes, we actually have to again stop the work, then satisfy their new requirement, kind of disturbance in the existing work. And team might get frustrated actually if the changes are constantly coming. And that too we implement without impact analysis of budget and other things schedule. Second thing is not able to deliver on time. We are not able to deliver on time. That's one of the challenge. Now the question is why we are not able to deliver on time. So usually project manager and team is actually kind of blamed. But are we really realistic? Are we targeting realistic schedule? For example, if someone tells me that, okay, within 1 hour, complete project management whole training, is it possible? Is it possible 35 hours training I can complete in 1 hour? It's not possible. It's not realistic. Okay, so if that is done, then it's unrealistic expectation. And then I will not be able to deliver that. Same thing happens in the project. So we should have realistic targets, and that's why planning must be allowed in the project. Resource attrition is one another area. Over budgeting, as mentioned by some of you. Uncertain events or conditions like unknown things that keeps happening in the project. Then kind of quality issues. Quality like bugs in the project, defects, lack of poor performance by the team member, not a good quality work done. And of course, challenges due to team located virtually. Nowadays, that's a major challenge because when we work with people located virtually, we can't see them, we can't basically track them. So various issues are there. So good infrastructure and communication equipments are required to handle such challenges. And also, virtual team should have a good moral to work together. Otherwise, there is a tendency that attitude of virtual team becomes individualistic. My work is done. Now I'm not sure what's going on, why the problems are coming. I checked my module. I am not sure. In my module, I don't have any problem. That's what they will say sometimes. So such challenges are there. So time to time, keeping them together, building a good team when they're virtual is a big challenge for the project manager. So that's about this one. Any question on that? Maybe I can take up that in the chat. You can type. If any small question, I can answer. Otherwise, anyway, we are going to take it last. Okay. Fine. So now there is something called triple constraint: scope, cost, and schedule. If you can see the triangle, if I extend, for example, scope. A scope is, let's say, it's a horizontal line here. Assume that this is the scope one. It's mentioned here. I will type here also. So if I extend scope from this position to, let's say, you can see my cursor, right? Let's say up to here. If I extend the scope, what do you think? Will triangle remain triangle? When I extend one of the sides, will the triangle remain triangle? Answer is no. It will be imbalanced. So if you want to balance the triangle, you have to perform impact analysis. That's called triple constraint impact analysis. That means every time there is a scope change, you should tell what is the impact on cost and schedule. Then only the triangle will be balanced. Now, in a traditional approach, usually I have seen that many of the times to satisfy the customer and not to get dissatisfaction from them, we keep on adding the new changes without impact analysis approval. So triangle becomes kind of unbalanced, imbalanced. And that is the reason there is a situation called scope creep. Scope creep means scope remains uncontrolled. It's not under the control of the team now because many changes are added without balancing this triangle. So project management says that anytime there is a change, it's fine. Customer has right to do that. But triple constraint impact analysis must be done. And we must get the approval for additional cost and schedule if there is a scope change. If there is a schedule change, then we must get the approval for the scope and cost, other two parameters from the sponsor. Then it is fine. We are ready to do every changes. But as long as we are doing impact analysis and get the approval, it's fine. But if we are not doing it, we are kind of imbalancing the triangle after every new change that we are adding. And at some point of time, it might become kind of a flat, not even triangle, flat line. So that is about the triple constraint triangle. Now, just to give you some overview or glimpses of project management certification training and what exactly PMBOK guide contains. So it contains 49 processes, 2 initiating, 24 planning process. And that means there are 5 process groups actually, and we can say 5 phases of the project. I'm sure all of you are aware, you might be doing it every day. Initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. So worth to note here that half of the process, almost half of the process are assigned in the planning. And unfortunately, in a traditional approach, planning is done at a very high level. And here, professional project management says spending more time in planning should pay you off in the execution. See, usually, what type of challenges we get in the execution? Uncertain problems, uncertain behavior of the products. Team member will be telling that, okay, until now, everything is fine, but suddenly after one day, everything will crash. Many challenges when project moves towards the last few days of the project. Because detailed planning was not done. Detailed planning was not done. Detailed planning was not done. So what happened? Things remains uncertain. What is the purpose of planning actually? Converting uncertain areas of the project. It could be a design uncertainty, development uncertainty, whatever. Converting each uncertain aspect of the project into certainty. Okay. So once that is done, then our execution will be smoother. But if that is not done, then execution will be not smoother. And many of the project managers find it really tough towards the last few days of the execution because that is the time they face many issues. So here, basically, there are 49 processes divided into various subject areas, knowledge areas. You must have heard this term, like integration, scopes. Knowledge area means, let's say, for example, I'm telling, let's plan the project, but what to plan? So answer is, okay, let's plan the scope. Okay, then what to plan? The answer is okay, then schedule. Okay, after the schedule, what to plan? The answer is cost, like that. So we should be able to work on these various areas: integration, scope, schedule, cost, quality, resource management. Resource means man, machine, material, all. Then stakeholder management, risk management, communication management, procurement management. So there are various aspects of planning. It's not just planning the technical task and creating the schedule and start working on it. And you can see it will take a lot of time also. So that's about the overall view of project management body of knowledge, PMBOK guide. Okay, and that is the reference for basically PMP exam. It has got 49 process and 10 subject area. We can say knowledge area as per PMBOK. Okay, so we learn basically how initiating should be done, basically for any project, irrespective of the industry. It's a very standard method. And what is PMBOK guide actually? It's not a theoretical suggestions by someone. Whatever we learn in this training, it contains experience of already working processes and concepts. That means the kind of learnings that we have in this training, project management training, is not theoretical suggestions, but they are the best practices already being followed in many industries. That is why it is part of the training or PMBOK guide, actually, part of the syllabus of PMP exam. So it is not that someone has suggested some theory, it's somewhere by someone it is working, because those people who are experienced in this area, those people who are using that methods, they are only part of this designing these things, content, etc. Okay, so I hope it gives you clarity. You can note down your questions. We'll take it shortly. Okay. So if you want to learn more about project management, we do have project management webinars ongoing time to time. So you can visit ProThought website and find the upcoming webinars, etc. Okay, so before I continue further, do you want to ask any questions first? So it's time for question answers. We can take 10 minutes on that and then last 10 minutes kind of summarizing it. From my side, I tried my best to cover uh, various aspects of project management, overview of that. I hope you learned something. You can feel free to ask questions. I'm waiting for the questions. Or if you want to know anything about what we discussed further, when will be the formal training for PMP? Okay. So basically, you can definitely get in touch with ProThought and website. So there is a batch starting on 5th of March. That's a weekend batch, and there will be one batch in Hyderabad classroom training. So 5th March will be the online session, online batch, weekend batch 5, 6, and 12, 13 March. In 19, 20, and 26, 27, I guess, March. That is the classroom session in the Hyderabad. Just to answer your question, Uday, is it fine? So both the batches will be taken by myself. Yeah, I request all of you, if you can ask any questions, because we are running time further. So we have 10 minutes for you. Feel free to ask, even if it is not a right question according to you. If you have a question, try to ask. Okay. Joyce Kavita says, how project manager allocate time frame for 5 process, etc. Okay. So actually, if you can see the number of processes, that is a hint actually. I mean, there is no such standard thing, but you can clearly see 24 process out of 49 actually. It clearly indicates, particularly for the very new project, uncertain projects, you're doing first time, spend maximum time in the planning. So according to the number of processes assigned, we can say almost 30 to 50% of the time we should spend in planning. But it's like if you're doing some work regularly again and again, then the planning time will reduce after some time. It's not that compulsory every time, 50% of the time. If you're doing projects regularly, for example, website development. So if somebody is experienced, now they might spend less time in planning because they would have done that in the first project, first website development. Is that okay? Next question is there. Thank you for your questions. Uday says, will that cost bear by attendee or company sponsored? Which cost? Are you talking about training? Uday? Okay. So, of course, basically, it depends on where you're working. Usually, we have seen that it's good you pointed out. Usually, nowadays, if you discuss with your company, if they are not aware about it, usually it will not happen. But if you discuss with your management, they do have policy in most of the company nowadays. You first arrange everything on your own. And if you get PMP certified, if you clear the exam, I think 60 to 70% of the organizations are ready to pay, but only if you clear the exam. That kind of systems they have. Otherwise, specific to your company, I am not sure. Sorry for that. Okay. So I hope, Kavita ma'am, I answered your questions. Pooja madam. Okay. So anyone planning to take exam now needs to learn from which PMI edition? Okay. So the question is, should we prepare on 6th edition or 7th edition? So at present, it is still 6th edition based, we can say. 7th edition is already released, but it will take some more time to come into exam. But even if it comes in exam, there won't be, I mean, that drastic changes because 6th edition is going to be there. I mean, 6th edition is going to remain base according to PMI. So I hope I have answered your question, Pooja madam. Next question. How would I know if this certificate will help me? Okay. So it's like car example I mentioned, right? So difference is only how you drive the car. So if that difference you want to make, it's a big difference, right? I mean, and that you will know when the challenging time comes while driving the car. Usual driving, everyone can do. Suppose you want to drive on the hills, then it might make a difference if you have learned from professional driving, something like that. How many hours do I need to study every day to be able to prepare? Approximately 2 hours every day until at least 3 months. Because now we have got Agile also within the PMP exam. 50% questions are on Agile and 50% are on the predictive life cycle. You can assume that minimum 3 months required. If you have full time available, at least you can study more, then you can reduce that to maybe 2 months. It all depends on your individual confidence. Okay, I am from Bangladesh and I have completed all application process in PMI, just pay an exam remain. Could you tell me how will you help me what to do right now for getting certification in first attempt? So I'm not sure whether you have done the 35 or you have already done application process. Okay. So what to do right now for getting certification in maybe regular study of conscious and consistent study is required, and maybe giving mock test simulation, maybe at least 3 mock tests would be good enough. That will give you the confidence. So maybe you can get in touch with ProThought offline. We may not have that much time to discuss in detail. Is that fine? Is it global certificate? Of course, yes. It's a global certification demanded across the world and all the industry, we can say. How many months of preparation is needed? So I mentioned, right? You got the answer, 3 to 4 months. See, if somebody is not very much experienced in managing the projects, that people have to consider additional few weeks. In general, I said 3 to 4 months. So till when 637 is going to be, actually 637 will remain as a reference, even though 737 will be implemented. Because most of the things are same, some connectivity of understanding various things are changed actually. Here we have processes that they call principles actually in the 737, some kind of that changes. So 637 learnings will remain intact. It is required. It is going to be referred. I can't say right now, madam, if you give exam after September 2022, I can't say because I don't have the information, but chances are there that during that time, by that time, announcement would have come. So if PMI announces for that specifically, then generally after the announcement, we have seen in the past, they take at least 4 to 6 months, at least 6 months to get into effect. So till now, announcement has not come. So I don't think we can expect until August at least. Are you the only trainer in ProThought? No, we have our other colleagues also. But the coming up batch that is on 5th and Hyderabad batch, I'm going to take. Is there any other certification? You can visit our website. You can find the details for that. We have all the details on our website. Who was that? Uday. Okay, you can see the details. Is there any other certification? Of course, there is a Prince 2 certification, Prince 2. But if somebody is planning for migrating to UK-based organization, European country, then better to check with that company because Prince 2 certification is more demanded into some of the European countries there. Otherwise, PMP is much wider spread compared to Prince 2. Need to pay separate fee for certification? Of course, certification and this 35 hours training, both are completely separate. Trainings are arranged by training providers like us, and exam fees are taken by the PMI Institute. In total, it will be $555 approximately. You can visit the pmi.org website. Okay, if I don't have much experience in project management, Of course, if you can try consciously, we can help you to basically get clear with the concepts, difficult subjects. So rest depends on your effort and that. Is it fine? Of course, getting better job, it is going. See, many people have changed their domain actually after PMP certification. They have switched career into different area of the life, area of the work actually. So that also works out, because see, certification guarantees that this person understands project management concepts well and can work on any project irrespective of the industry. So if you switch over the career in different industry, you have to get basic knowledge of that. So it does help actually. Yeah, okay, fine. It helps actually. Will there be a PDH? Okay, so PDU will be credited, of course, for this webinar. One PDU you will get. Can we get any sample? You can get in touch with us if you need so. Can we get any sample paper from last? No, that's not. Mock tests are there. Sample paper of the last year is not available. Is that okay? So we'll take last question, last one or two. If anyone does not have project management experience, what are the chances to get into industry as a fresher? Some companies do that, but it depends on opportunity provided by them. 50-50 chances, I can say. Can you share the link for mock test? That is given once the training is completed actually. There are some free questions. You can visit our website. Usually 3 mock tests are fine. Okay, fine. So maybe last time announcing any specific question related to the session we had. Okay, so let's conclude. Maybe we have 10 minutes now. So first I'll be doing a poll. So please answer that. So first of all, there is an announcement. If anyone joining this webinar from Hyderabad, it is specifically for Hyderabad candidates. We have a batch schedule on 19th of March, 19th, 20, 26, 27. So that will be taken by myself, and anyone from Hyderabad can claim this 15% off. So that is a message from our team. Okay, and for more information, you can email us on this email ID. Some of the questions like how can you help us for clearing exam at first attempt? So maybe such things can be taken offline. If you need help, you can let us know. And there is a mobile number given. If you want, you can call on that. Okay. So thank you so much and wish you all the best.